Hi guys, this is Midday, your local angry blade dancer. And for those of you who don't know, I play on the North American server. I also play Blade Master. I'm a subreddit moderator and all that crap. So today what I'm going to go over is 6v6 disconnects and crashes and just general issues with the game mode. I've been contacted by NC staff saying that anything detailed to give developers would give them something tangible to work with. Unfortunately, the normal crash report or the crash log that gets requested after the game usually crashes is not generated when crashing from a 6v6 game, because the two main ways of terminating from a 6v6 game is either your game shutting off and completely closing on its own out of nowhere, or you ending the task with Task Manager. So, to get into it, simply I'm gonna flick on my monitor capture and just go over them. The clips that I have prepared will be lengthy, just because it has been mentioned to me that the more information I have, the better. So I've included the fights as much as I can before the disconnects happen. So if there's any clues in there that the developers might draw from, they'll be there. So here we go, going monitor capture. My game would do the monitor capture thing. Maybe I have to do this and then go, okay, yeah, okay. So monitor capture. So I've gone, and you can see I have like a billion tabs, and half of these tabs are related to 6v6. So here's the first one.
Fuck!
Yeah, that's Rue. Oh shit, I'm in trouble. I should have tabbed that. I don't know if you can. Yeah, red spin.
Am I dead?
Oh,
I'm dead. Oh, I'm fine.
Okay. So you see, I'm dead, and what I do is that I press 4. Okay. This is probably, I would say, 45% of all crashes, just from general experience, come from this. Okay. So you die, you res, and you run back, and then.
God damn! Fucking shit!
We got top, we got top, we got top.
You got top? Okay.
I don't see the smoke.
4, 3,
I crashed.
2, 1.
Okay, well, he wasn't counting down the crash, but obviously, this is a crash. Or, yeah, just a crash, right? So I die, I res, I come back, and boom, my game freezes, okay? I didn't include the whole length of the fight. Maybe I should. Anyways, I've included other clips. I guess I must have missed out on this one. But anyways, as you can see, due to no fault of mine or any of my allies, upon rezzing and just trying to run back to the fight, I crash. And for some reason, this crash happens the most often when you 4-res, you come back, and you go back somewhere, and within 10, 15, 30 seconds, I've seen even long as a minute, just boom, you freeze. But most commonly, like, within 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you just crash on your way back to the fucking fight, right? So I would say that 45% of crashes just come from here. Now, the next 45% of crashes come from something called the 4 bug, or what the 6v6 community has dubbed the 4 bug. And for some reason, these sorts of crashes, all these crashes that I'm mentioning, from general player experience and from all the playing I've done and talking to people that I've done, which is a lot, seem to only happen in the 6v6 game mode. Why? I don't know. If we knew, this probably wouldn't be a problem. But anyways, sample B, the 4 bug. So you can see me coming. Okay, I should mention that this 4 bug doesn't happen for a while. I've included the entire fight.
Should I go mid with? Oh, never mind.
I have nothing.
Catching up.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, what?
I got one
Look
bot.
at these guys just fucking spamming into him, dude.
I got one bot.
Oh, I'm coming. I just wanted to visualize, you know, how KFMs get counters in 66 real fast. Still what?
Huh? Yo, camera night tapped. Camera night tapped.
Hard tab, right?
Yeah. Splash stars the SS. Oh shit.
Fucking liar!
She probably just reset potion. Hello? She probably definitely just reset potion. I'm probably gonna die here. Yeah.
Oh my god! I was on it! Oh, we lost bot.
HM moods fucked me.
So the crash is coming pretty soon.
She tab again like right at when you furied?
I didn't fury, I grabbed them for you, like immediately, and it was just tab.
Yeah, she probably just hit a pizza
Oh
push
shit!
after she
Oh,
tabbed.
they timed that.
You wanna go back top or you wanna go mid?
I'm gonna go mid.
Midday you top.
I'm top.
The BM is coming to you from our side. He's gonna jump over the cliff.
Okay, noted.
Just give it like 30 seconds, he should be there.
He has, he has
I'm
grab.
dead, I think. JK, not dead.
He got that. I was gonna say.
Is he by himself here?
I guess.
No, it's got 3. It's got 3.
We're about to cap this. We're about to
Oh,
cap
oh,
this.
okay. I'm stopping.
Base destroyed. Base captured.
I 4 bugged.
Oh my god. Come.
Okay, so that's example B. Basically, in the middle of your animation, in the middle of your res animation, everything just freezes, right? And it's another way of crashing. Okay, I would say this is another 45% of where crashes come from, right? It's about as common as the other kind of crashing, where you res and you run back and it freezes, right? So you press 4, it freezes mid-animation. It doesn't necessarily freeze at this specific point in the animation. It can freeze at any point in the animation, okay? This is just one example. But basically you freeze, it says you're dead, right? And you don't come back. You don't come back. And I have another example to show that you do not come back. You like enter the Twilight Zone or the Shadow Realm and you never come up the other side. And once again, due to no fault of my own or any of my teammates, I am now taken out of the game. Furthermore, it doesn't look like it from the score, but we actually lose this game. Next clip. I'll go back a little more, actually. Okay. So coming in here.
Does this guy not speak English? First he tombstones me and he...
Okay. So the subject here is Pudius, okay? So why don't I rewind a little bit. I'll keep the sound off this time. So this is what it looks like from, you know, somebody who's not 4-bugging's perspective, okay? So he's taking fire, Boom, he's dead, okay? Now there's a slight cooldown before he can press 4 to res, but he'll press 4 to res. And this is what happens when he presses 4 to res. Blanked out. Doesn't say he's dead. Doesn't say how much HP he has. It says exactly what it says here. Whirlwind Valley and dead, except the no dead word. And notice how he pressed 4 first, right? He pressed 4 before I did, and he's still not back. Now, allow me to zoom in for the rest of this. Or zip ahead for the rest of this. He doesn't come back. Doesn't come back. He doesn't come back. He's gone, Jim. And he stays gone. The Twilight Zone, Shadow Realm, wherever he may end up being, fucking Narnia, I know not where, he's gone. And he's gone there for the remainder of the game. One thing to take note of is that when somebody 4-bugs, and crashes in this specific way, and again, it's a common way to crash. When somebody crashes this way, the game calculates the point gain loss after the game's over as if this person had disconnected. We'll be able to observe that just as we get to the end here. If I could fucking... Here, why don't I just... Whoops, whoops, whoops. Too far, too far. Okay. So, he's still gone, hasn't come back, even though it was early in the game. The game takes note that he did 0 damage and received 0 damage, just as if he had actually pulled the plug on his internet. Okay? Now, this isn't always the case. Sometimes when they 4-bug, it doesn't say that they dealt 0, received 0. Sometimes it still actually says the number. It's inconsistent. Why? I don't know. But just information. So, notice that nobody on their team DC'd. Assumedly, didn't DC. And in that instance, I don't think anybody did. Look, we only lose 5 points. Why? Because the game treats it as if this person behaved as a disconnect, right? Even when they weren't technically a hard disconnect, like they didn't leave the party, the game calculated as if they had disconnected. However, when you bug in this way where you just freeze, the game does not do that. In other words, if one team has a DC where the person crashes upon their way back to the fight after pressing 4-res, and if a person crashes with a 4-bug, the game will calculate the score afterwards as a 5v6, even though one player from each team is taken out of commission. Just because of luck of the draw. Half of the strategy now in 6v6 is just killing your opponents because there's a 5% chance they're not going to be able to come back. And 50% of the time, that's like this way, right? Where it's turned into a 5v6, and the game will calculate as a 6v6. So this isn't a rare occurrence. This is a common occurrence, okay? It happens daily. If you check my stream VODs, and they're all available, you will have sessions where there are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row, where 1 to 2 people DC each and every game. In some cases, it's really bad. Hold on, maybe there's one of these screenshots around here, but there's like only 4. Like here, there's only 2 people playing this game. Both of these people have DC'd. And if you take note, this person says 0-0, and this person doesn't say 0-0. I know for sure in this instance that 2 people DC'd, and if you pay attention to the point gain loss, they've only lost 2 points. You know, more evidence that if you 4-bug in this way, it calculates as if you DC'd. Because trust me, -2 is not normal. And these people just risked like 30 plus points for this game without knowing it, right? It's not like they queued into the game going, oh, well, look at these guys, you know, we're going to lose this many points if we lose. No, without knowing it. And furthermore, I just want to add this as a side note. If you lose more than 30 points from a game because of circumstances like this, it is actually better for your rating to have pulled the plug, which makes no sense, right? You should not program the game in such a way where if you actually intentionally disconnect your game, you will lose more than if you actually sit there and play out a loss, no matter how favored you are, because a disconnect should be the most punishing form of, you know, rating loss, because it was put in there as a system to deter people from DC in order to keep their rating. So that's just a side note. Not saying you should increase it to like -40 if you DC. I'm just saying rework your damn system and so that, you know, it's less, so that it simply makes more sense. Okay, so another example. This is probably the rarest kind of crash. I've said 45% from, you know, run back and freeze, and 45% from the 4-bug animation. This is probably the last 10%. It's much more rare, but it happens. And here's an example. This is his music. Although I listen to this too, I guess. Okay. So, he's come back, and notice that he hasn't crashed on his way back, right? So we know it's not this kind of, or I mean this kind of crash. So he's done there, he runs mid. And he fights mid.
2 mid. Kill the gunner, kill the gun. Oh, my game crashed. Fuck.
Okay, so this kind of crash is where you're just playing the game. You're just playing the game, and out of fucking nowhere, it freezes. Just in the same way that this freezes, except it's not immediately after a 4-res. Now yes, he rezzed and ran over here and ran to top and then did a loop around and come mid, but the time is much longer, right? As far as we're concerned, he's just playing the game right now. And boom, the crash. This is probably the rarest kind of crash, but it happens, annoying as hell. Once again, due to no fault of his own or any of his team members, it's turned into a 6v5. Not that it matters at this point, because, well, it does matter, but he does win this game. But very frustrating to play with. Blah, blah, blah. Rage, rage, rage. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is something that is less... Okay, it's still related to game mechanics, but it's more of a player exploit rather than a client issue. Okay? So, as of however many seasons ago, probably at least like 4 or something, how the matchmaking system has changed is that before, at least this was true for 1v1s and 3v3s, but let's say for 3v3, 3 people queued up, it would take the highest person's rating in that team and search within 100 of that rating. If the highest member on another team was within 100 of that rating, they could match. That's how it used to work. Now it's not the case. How it works now is that if, for example, you queue with 2 people who are 1500 and 1 person who's 1600, it will search at an average of 1533.3 repeating rating. And when it searches with that rating, it can go within a range of 150, almost 200 from experience and just from talking with other PvPers. And so it judges with average Q, okay? So similarly, that has affected 3v3 just as much as it's affected 6v6. Now, to take this game for an example, okay? I'm about... What am I about? Go back. Okay, I'm 1746, right? My partner's almost 1600 right now. And if we observe here, we have someone... Now, this is taken very late in the morning, okay? So I can sympathize with people who simply can't find a game. But this player, Linesis, has queued with a bronze player, right? Now, again, he did this just so he could find a game. It's late at night. It's hard to find a game. However, this system is easily exploitable. So what you do is that you queue with the bronze, and it drags you down so that it's easier to find games, okay? Now, at the time of taking this clip, I know for a fact that Linesis was the rank 2 Blade Dancer for Whirlwind Valley, okay? Rating-wise, he was the rank 2 BD. And we have here the rank 1 BM, and I think he was rank 1 by about 50 points, right? And he's queuing with the low silver. And the reason why I have this included, this clip included, is that it essentially embodies everything wrong with the current system, along with the combination of crashing. Okay? So, blah, blah, blah. Here we are. We started the game. Yada, yada, yada. Skip through that. Okay. So, there's some fighting, etc. I'll just kind of skip through it. Okay, there we go. Go back. Go back. Go back. Okay. So my dual queue partner, Walnut, is here fighting at mid, right? So he's fighting, he's fighting, he's fighting. And he drops dead. Yes? 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 No? Yes? Yes. Okay. So he drops dead. And I'll just turn the volume on so you can kind of hear what we say.
Oh.
So he's dead and he presses 4 to res, right? What the?
Wait, my game froze. Hello? Oh, never mind, I'm back. What the? Wait, I can't reset. Hello?
Did you actually 4-bug?
Wait, hello, hello, hello? Hello, hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you. I think you 4-bugged, dude.
Wait, my game is just frozen. The fuck?
Yeah, you 4-bugged. Holy shit. Alright, we gotta do this to touch it.
He's 4 bug.
Oh, I DC'd. Debated.
Nah, you're on the.
Okay, so as you can hear and see, he 4-bug. Die presses 4, boom, game's frozen, turns into a 5v6, okay? Now, for the rest of this game, we play it out as a 5v6. We are a man down compared to their 6. Simple concept. Now, at the end of the game, the very end of the game, now remember, it queued searching with average rating. Now he's gone, right? He DC'd entirely from the party. Notice that we're still winning the game, right? So he crashed very early. How early did he crash? Hold on, let me just. Whoop! Too far. Not far enough. Yeah, how far did he crash? Okay, so he crashes at about, the midway point through the game ish, right? About a third of the way through, half of the way through, whatever you want to call it. He crashes at a point in the game where there still is much play to be had. Okay? So we do a 5v6 without him for this whole time. Now, the game ends, and this is one of those instances where it makes sense. If a person disconnects, and your 5 players work hard to beat their 6 players, you should gain more rating. And what has been suggested by other players is that if the score has not yet reached 1,000 for either team, then what should happen is that they should be rewarded or penalized or whatever for their work into the game. Okay? Now, if you just observe, right, you can see it in the chat box if you pay attention to the chat box, and I open it later, okay? I'll keep the sound on.
Jedi? He usually stays in chat and watches his.
Why can't I vote for the MVP?
Means you can't see
He left the battleground!
Haha! Called it, dude! What a god!
Okay, so it actually doesn't say it in the chat box, but I'll scroll forward a little bit so you guys can see it. But basically, at the last second, one of the players, this Blade Master's partner, disconnects at the end of the game in order to make it so that his teammate or his team or whatever, her, blah blah blah, I think it's actually a her, doesn't lose as much rating for this loss, because if they were to lose a 5v6, they would lose a lot of rating, right? Deservedly so, because the person on our team crashed very early. So you can see here we only gained 4 points because that person left the game. Now, the client had an issue. My teammate DC'd, was gone, right? And whether they had actually pulled the plug or closed their client, because with all these bugs, right? Maybe I should have mentioned this earlier, but with this bug and with this bug and with the Putius bug, yeah, the Putius. Oh, come on, let's go back for a few. Okay, with this bug and with this bug, if you do not close your client, most of the time you don't DC. I've had a few instances where players still DC. For example, when I was in Edmonton, I still DC'd. Now I'm in Victoria, I don't DC from the party anymore, even if I had these freezes, even though I used to. And other players, when they encounter freezes or these sorts of runtime errors, their game just automatically closes after a short period of time afterwards. And in some cases, their games close entirely without any warning whatsoever. So, I'll go zoom a little forward here. I'll take down the chat. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. So here we go, right? Whoops. It shows that the game's ended and this person leaves the battleground. And we know this person has disconnected because if you check the chat log, they haven't died recently. They haven't died recently, so they haven't had a chance to DC. Now, yes, their game could have closed automatically on its own, and they could have had some sort of internet malfunction right before the game ended, right? they could have had some sort of freak crash or accident. But considering the disconnect happened, and let me see if I can, hold on, fucking, let's listen to when they DC'd again.
Jedi?
Means you can't see
He
your
left the
rating.
battleground! Right? Okay. So you can see me exclaim that the person left the battleground. And then somebody else says,
Haha, I called it, dude!
yeah, he called it. Because we expected these players, because, you know, they're in a social circle where lots of their players do sort of these things that they disconnect, okay? So what this person has, like, I would probably bet money that this person, intentionally DC'd in order to help their buddy or whatever, right? And I will be putting this on Reddit. I'm going to mention this in text. This is not meant to be a witch hunt. This is, the main intention of this video is to be an information hub for developers to work with. So nothing of the sort. It is simply a means to show of what is wrong with the system on a number of levels, okay?
Dude, what a guy.
Okay. So that game embodies everything that's wrong because the client side had an issue with my partner, which made him DC, which skewed the points, but this other person who was queuing with a duo partner who was abusing the matchmaking queue system along with the person on our team who was abusing the matchmaking queue system had their player intentionally DC for less points lost, right? And from what I've heard from players recently is that people are exploiting it now more on Korea, and basically it's turning into a shitfest. And what we've done this season is that NCSoft has released achievements, right? Nobody's been Platinum Whirlwind Valley for probably almost a year, I want to say, but this season we might see them. And we're probably going to see them with the help of a lot of DCing or win trading, or maybe people will be too lazy, I don't know. But this is just my general feeling. So now I just want to outline that when players send tickets to support, right? Player support, customer support, whatever you want to call it. And I've done this before, where support tells me, hold on, let me see if I can even find it. Let me just quickly. Whoa, I have a new email. Oh, okay. Whoops, wrong button. Okay, so here we are. So what they've done here is that they've asked me to do these sorts of, you know, diagnostics, right? And then what they've done furthermore is that they've asked me to lower the amount of startup programs I've had on my computer, etc., etc. And I just want to highlight how incredibly frustrating it is when everybody has this problem and they're telling me it's my computer, right? It's actually ridiculous. So whoever's in charge of the support team, tell them to, like, not bullshit, I guess, because that's what it is. It's a load of bullshit when they're like, we need to make it so that when your game boots up, it doesn't automatically start what the fast, and that's why you are having these problems, right? So yeah, you can see here there's only 4 people in this game, and this early into the game, right, which is actually madness. And then these are just examples. I don't know if support can, or like developers can draw any information from these screenshots that might be useful. But that guy's dead as shit. It's saying it's not responding. This is a runtime error. This is a runtime error. It's C++, whatever. Again, there's only 5 people in this game because somebody else obviously crashed. This person just respawned. And it's saying, and you can tell they just respawned because you can barely see that there's a bit of score here. Either they were AFK the whole time, and just decided to tune into the game, or they crashed, and I would be, or like, you know, Rez came back and instantly crashed, which is what I bet it would be. This person has had a runtime error. This person is not responding, and ooh, runtime error. Now this screenshot is unique because you can see that this person has just died. Actually, you can't see it in the chat for some. Oh yeah, yes you can. You have died. They res. You have resurrected. They come back, take the portal, and mid-animation, boom, you crash. And this is not an remember, this is like a very common crash. And for some reason, it's particularly this right portal. I see a lot of people crash on this right portal and literally just stand, like where I'm highlighting my mouse right now is about where they would stand if they come back. And where they stand right now, they're just stuck there, right? Because their game is frozen, like this. And they get some sort of runtime error, which is ridiculous. And once again, points being skewed, only +8 because the opponents had a DC. Once again, program is not responding. And again, I showed this screenshot earlier. These two people both had the 4 bug, but for some reason, one of them it says 0-0, and the other one it has damage received and taken. Why? Don't know. Fix it? Yes, please. So basically, there are just a lot of flaws, and I hope I've outlined them with sufficient detail. And I've outlined all the different kinds of crashing and disconnecting that's involved in 6v6. And with this information, hopefully something will be done soon. I personally am super fed up with it. Players have been dealing with it since at least July. I've met people who have entirely quit this game mode just because of these issues, and people who lost interest. The ladders this season and every progressive season are becoming more and more dead. Why? Because all people are doing DC exploits along with countless crashing. For every season, the last 3 days are a shit fest. Like, everybody crashes, everybody loses their rating, their ranking. Some people are entirely afraid to queue, and a lot of people who do queue are pressured to do it because of the crazy season rewards. I'm not saying the season rewards need a reduction, but because the season rewards are worth so much in actual like value if you were to convert it into money, that people just feel desperate enough that they have to boost their ranking for it, and they queue with bronzes, and they get their teammates to disconnect and all that crap. It's like a lot of players are really frustrated with it, and even though these crashes have been happening since July or earlier, probably earlier, I think earlier, we haven't heard anything on Twitter or like Reddit or the website or a stream to any significant extent about how the team was looking at it. Because if NCSoft doesn't give attention to these problems, they're basically saying that they either A, don't notice, or B, don't care, which I don't think honestly is the case, but when they behave in this manner, it sure seems like it. And so I'm essentially trying to do my part as a player in being a part of the solution, because I haven't seen any player go through extensive lengths in order to try and explain these phenomenon, for lack of a better word, right? So I just hope that I want to basically say to NCSoft that players are frustrated, players care. Hold on, what am I on? And everybody is super frustrated about this. There might actually be some racism in here, but basically just people crashing over and over. This is the 6v6 Discord where there's a channel called DC's Lever's Hallucination, where basically if people crash or have issues, they show it, right? And it's an easy way to discern whether a person has DC'd actually or not, because the NA community is so small that you can basically just ask somebody, hey, did this person DC, yes or no? And that'll be that. And this happens on a daily basis, all the time, from multiple players, especially during the busy season, like the last 2 weeks before the season ends, right? So this is a huge frustration for the players. And from a financial or perhaps a business standpoint, these are the players that are putting the most amount of money into your game. The people who gear up to do not only PvE, but PvP. So, I mean, at the very least, cater to the whales, right? This last balance patch had a PvP bracelet, a PvP earring, and gloves, right? 2 PvP legendary items. And those 2 legendary items are streamlined for 6v6. But it's actually an unplayable game mode. You actually cannot play this game mode properly. You cannot enjoy your games anymore because every time you queue up, there's like a 50% chance or higher that somebody in there is just gonna get fucked. And it is so frustrating that after such a long period of time, nothing has been done. So I hope with this video that the solution comes faster, sooner than later. Now, I want to finalize this video, because I want to stay with one topic at a time, but I'll just also mention in this video that in-game stats, this is the general player consensus after asking around. But basically, when you open your stats and see these stats, right? Why don't I just switch to my PvP setup really quick so that you can get an idea of what I'm saying, or trying to say, just for a more accurate image, I guess. Okay, yeah, that looks right. So we see here that I have about 4.1k piercing, and about 4.6k crit defense, and a lot of this other crap, okay? Now, one thing to take note of is that I'm Hong Moon 17. If, for example, I was Hong Moon 20, and I was fighting a Hong Moon 12 player, what the vast majority of the high-level PvPing, open-world PvPing community agrees is that a player of higher Hong Moon levels will scale better against a player with lower Hong Moon levels. So in other words, even if my accuracy is enough to completely negate somebody's block, right? Like, so for example, this is the base amount of block. If your class has no base block, for example, Blade Dancer, if you have no base block and you have your general equipment on, right, and you don't have block on any of your soul shields, this is what it's going to look like. You have 886 block, and I have 127% accuracy, right? Now my block rate is 19.3%. It's very easy to have 119 accuracy, right? But I've been RNG blocking players even with this shit block rate, simply because of what I believe to be my HM level. So stats like accuracy, defense, crit defense, piercing, all of these numbers, I believe, the community believes, are skewed and scaled against lower level players. This is something that I don't know whether it's intended or not, but let me put it this way. If it is intended, these numbers are misleading. If it's not intended, please fix it. Oh, and please do fix it even if it is intended, because quite honestly, if you get stats, these stats should be stats, right? They shouldn't be scaling poorly against higher HM level players. So that's basically my video in a nutshell. This is your Angry Local Blade Dancer midday, and I hope you guys found this video at least somewhat educational. Thanks very much for watching.